Yes, we are a few minutes off. Yes, we are a few minutes off, guys. I can explain. Your boy got caught up in looking at the markets. Went overboard looking at the markets and then trying to make sure I got the last story for us to talk about. Yes, I was overdoing it just a little. Markets, they said inflation, disclaimer, not financial advisor. Before I do the other disclaimer, they said inflation was higher than usual, which means Jerome Powell, CPI, I think it was the CPI there. Disclaimer, not financial advisor. But let's get going. We got some stuff to talk about. We got some stuff to talk about. Yeah, in the control room. How is y'all day going? How was the rest of y'all day yesterday? And then we got that. We're in the control room. Disclaimer. The videos presented here are for informational purposes only, and therefore, if you are to choose an institution, please do your own research and consult with a specialist at that institution you are interested in. I am not a financial aid specialist, academic advisor, or a financial advisor, or representing any institution. Speaking on behalf, Creator Henry is only speaking from his experience. Let's go. And I need to put my phone on Do Not Disturb, guys, because people are notorious for calling me when I'm doing things with you all. Okay. So, we should be good. Can y'all see me? I got these glasses on, so y'all can see me pretty good. The light's not too bright. Okay. And they blowing horns out there, probably, as you can hear. So, the main thing we are finna talk about. Oh, man. First and foremost, Linda Mcmahon, Trump administration, won over the Supreme Court. What that means, they won over the Supreme Court to continue the mass firings at the Department of Education, which will allow them to possibly put education back into the states. Woo! Give me a rip left. Woo! We used to do that. The football team used to do that when I was in high school. Woo! Did they do that? I had to ask somebody. I had to do my fact check, history check. I know one of them will know. I think they did used to do that. So, we got some videos, too. Linda was turned. Linda was turned off that. That was breaking news, too. When it happened, I thought about doing it and getting on the chat with y'all. I said, I can wait till tomorrow. You know, the following not that big yet, where you could just hop on, do a breaking news, and everybody like, what's gonna happen? So we ain't there yet. But it definitely broke yesterday. It actually broke. It wasn't too long ago. I think it was at nighttime, I think. So I'm finna go to the video because I definitely saved it. It's a big deal. You know, we live in a time right now, people don't really care about it until it affects them. So, but it's a big deal. It's a very much big deal. Let me go to it. Here, is that it? No, that's the other one. I think this is it right here. Elizabeth Warren had posted it. And then... Whew, bless me. So, Elizabeth Warren posted it yesterday too. We're gonna look at everybody who got their comments on it. She got 529K views on X off of this. She said, breaking. Trump Supreme Court just greenlight its plans to gut the Department of Education. Every kid in America deserves access to a good public education. Breaking news. The Supreme Court agreed to allow Trump administration to proceed with dismantling the education department by firing thousands of workers. So if you don't know, as we said before, at one point the Department of Education was firing like pretty much everybody there. Like if you are there working there, you're pretty much not doing anything. And so I don't know if this is like just the one in DC, but we don't know if this is across all Department of Educations, of course, because they're trying to get rid of it. And so one way to get rid of it is by cutting the staff and showing that they're not doing any work, they're not producing nothing, there's no point in having them. And when they go before the Congress, because it can't go away unless Congress makes it go away. So they could just be delaying a lot of things, because if Congress doesn't agree to it, Department of Education stays, and they just get backed up on work when when the next administration comes back around. So this can be just a big delay at the end of the day, but right now the Supreme Court ruled in their favor. So that was that one. Let me go back, because I know I saw a video, and it's not that one. I got Linda right here, but I'm not gonna read that one yet. Let me go to LinkedIn. It might be on my bookmarks on LinkedIn. Yeah. Don't you just love your computer sometimes? It just goes fast and goes slow. Then you refresh it, it just act like nothing has happened. A lot of people are complaining about it. But as I said before, somebody ain't telling the truth. If you got this many people complaining, somebody ain't telling the truth. That's my conviction. My theory. I dropped my water. Y'all didn't see that. I didn't waste it, but I dropped it. Waiting on you, computer. You're making me look bad. You were just working flawlessly. Now you're going as molasses right now. Okay. My computer. This is my computer. There we go. Now you're going fast as ever. Perfect. Okay. I guess it wasn't a video. That was a video to it. It doesn't have a video. Wow. Wait, is it? Let me see. Maybe I did hit it. Alright, let me look for it. Let me see. If I type in Department of Education, doing a little research, it should come up. Actually, I'm gonna type in Linda, because Linda definitely be tagging herself on this stuff. And then yeah, there you go. I know I wasn't tripping. I was about to say, I know I saw a video. All right, here's the video, guys. I just didn't save it or bookmark it. This might be loud. Should be loud enough.
this is it's a real victory, I think, for the future of American education. And I was so pleased with the Supreme Court's ruling today, and it just really reemphasized the fact that the president, clearly, of the United States is the head of the executive branch, and he's the one that has the ultimate authority over staffing levels, administrative organization, etc. And through his appointees, which are the secretaries that head these agencies, he expects those orders to be carried out. And so I'm just incredibly pleased that the authority was reinstated where it should be, which is back with the president and with me in this particular instance as Secretary of Education. This lifts the handcuffs off of what we've been trying to do, which really is to get education back to the states where the president believes it does belong. The best education is that closest to the student.
So y'all heard that yourselves, and that was her, of course, being loyal, saying that this is good, it's a victory, they can go forward. Yeah, so it's a real deal. It's a real deal. Super busy. That's good, G. That's good. That's good. That is good that you're super busy. You gotta be.
It's a real.
No, Linda, we don't want to hear that again. Sorry, Linda. We don't want to hear it again. You sounded muffled too. All right. So now that you heard the video of it, that was that was Fox News. They had it on the phone right away. So now I'm gonna go read it on the Department of Education website. Excuse me. And so the U.S. Secretary of Education, Mcmahon, released the following statement. Of course, we just heard the reaction of her, so we don't really need to, read it again. It says but the U.S. Department of Education will now deliver on its mandate to restore excellence in American education. We will carry out We will carry out the reduction in force to promote efficiency. Now, tell me if this makes sense. We will carry out the reduction in force to promote efficiency and accountability and to ensure resources are directed where they matter most. Okay. To students, parents, and teachers. As we return education to the states, this administration will continue to perform all statutory duties while empowering families and teachers by reducing education bureaucracy. So, yeah. Most of all, they passed it. And guys, they passed it. So, remember it was like 1,400 people at the time. Let me see, where is it? Because they didn't mention none of the people they firing. They didn't mention how many. They skipped all of that. The Department of Education didn't mention none of those details. So they was about to fire 1,400 staff members. And so while the administration has sought to eliminate the department, which requires an act of Congress, it told the Supreme Court that the sweeping cuts were intended to make the agency leaner and not to do away with it. So somebody lying, right? Somebody's lying. Yep, they do. They do, G. And then they brought up some other things about discrimination, other civil rights violation, saying like if you get rid of Department of Education, they're bringing up a lot of things. It's really brief. It's not really, because a lot of people don't know what's going on with it. So, but they do know like they are about to fire more people for sure. People about to go away. And so if you call the Department of Education, you might not get an answer or something. If you do get an answer, nothing's really going to get done. So, like I say, my eye and view of the Department of Education has always been in my eye. They're supposed to police colleges, universities, Ivies, all of them. They're supposed to police them and make sure they're doing right. If you give it back to the states, you're saying the state is going to police them. Well, if your state doesn't care, like I keep saying, what if your state doesn't care about education, which some states do not care about education. Especially, you know, if you are from the South, you can relate to that. The South does not really prioritize education. Not even the private schools in the South are pretty good. It's just all like, if you compare it to the North. And so, yeah, it's not looking, you know, not looking up. I feel like a little bit. Ooh, it's not looking up. And so we'll keep an update on that with Linda and them, but they haven't said nothing since the breaking news, because you know they could reverse it as quick as they pass it or whatever. So, but that's been the ongoing cycle of this. People come and go. They pass something, they take it away. They pass it, they take it away. So let's go to our next one. But yeah, that was breaking news, guys, and it's not really like, because it's nothing new. I think the only thing that we really should keep in mind is that they're really about to fire people at the Department of Education. And you know me, I don't like I like being repetitive on certain things, like, you know, started 2-year, bridge to 4-year on the articulation agreement. But as a student, for you and how you can benefit from this, or your parent can navigate this, or your guardian, is more of a reason why you should start at a 2-year right now. It gives you a 2-year grace period under this administration, because this is uncertainty right now. This is really considered right now. The higher education sector right now is bearish right now. It's really bearish, which is a financial term in the stock market for things are looking bad and fearful. This is a fearful time in higher education. It's going to be the time where a lot of people, if you tap into it right now, you can get a great, potentially bright side of it. If you find the right lane to go through and take advantage of opportunities, because a lot of people are going to be so fearful, they're just going to take the easy way out, try to get a certificate, get a quick job, and they'll try to wait. Literally, some people will wait until the administration leaves. Hopefully, they'll anticipate they're leaving after their time, then they'll go back to school when things go back to normal. You got to think about it. We have immigrants who can't go to school right now. We have a lot of people going back to their countries, home countries. So it's a very difficult and fearful time in higher education. And so a lot of people might bypass college right now, which could potentially ask for more students to come to college. And so, because people not going to want to go, people are not supporting certain colleges right now. Because certain colleges are, as they say, are kissing the ring. And so, you know, it's a lot of things going on. Actually, the university presidents, they have to testify. I guess they have to go before the House, if I'm not mistaken. I was reading in Chronicle Higher Education. They said college presidents will take the stand before the U.S. House Education and Workforce Committee to answer for what Republican members of Congress describe as their institution's continued failure to combat discrimination. And so this is what we gotta deal with, guys. And so my next one though is St. Augustine. How was it? It's like Augusta, but Augustine. St. Augustine University to lose its accreditation. To lose its accreditation, guys. Yep. Why did I talk about this? Because it's a historical black college. And guys, when I looked them up, I got her hair. My girlfriend washed my clothes, y'all. Her hair is just all in my stuff. I tell you. It's just all in there. And so I actually Googled them too, and not good things are popping up. So this is kind of why I wish I had an Instagram, just a little bit, but I can still access it. I just can't log in. So real quick. So St. Augustine University, first and foremost, is about to lose their accreditation. They lost the they lost the final reaccreditation bid on the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges. So if you don't know, in the South, guys, that's like the accreditor. And so they went before them again, but the school, St. Augustine's University, pretty much wasn't doing what they were supposed to do. And they said, "Look, you failed. You're not getting reaccredited. If that's a word, you're not going to be accredited, pretty much." And so the school plans on taking them to court. But if they take them to court, the school gets to keep their accreditation. Why am I talking about this? Because guys, if you are in this school is in North Carolina. If you plan on going to school in North Carolina and this school is on your list, you probably shouldn't go there. You shouldn't go there right now because it's very risky. It's like I said, you're going to be at risk because if they lose the court battle, then they lose their accreditation. So if you do 2 years there, prime example, right? If you do 2 years there while this lawsuit is going on, because who knows, we don't know how fast like the lawsuit or the court battle can last. It can last a year, probably can last 6 months, but let's just say it lasts 2 years. For those 2 years that you are going to this school, St. Augustine's University, and they say, "Oh, we're going to rule in favor of Southern Association," pretty much. So Southern Association wins the case. Southern St. Augustine University loses their accreditation because they lost the case. So then now you spent 2 years at the school hoping they would win, and they didn't win. So now look, you know you need to transfer now because you're probably gonna come back to me. And then now you got to transfer, but guess what? Those credits you took those first 2 years can't transfer because they're not accredited. And they can't transfer nowhere really. You could try shopping it around, but most places are not going to take them. If I had to be certain, I would say 100% it's not going to take them. And so not even a 2-year college. So don't waste your time. I'm trying to save you time and money right now. This is a big deal. It's a really big deal. And to talk about more about St. Augustine University, they had a problem. They said this was 7 weeks ago. And so St. Augustine University chair, so somebody's on their chair, he or she, St. Augustine University chair, owes $600,000 after judge finds he used a loan to buy a Range Rover and personal expenses. So yes, guys, this is the stuff I be talking about with colleges. Not just because it's HBCU. This is what we talking about with colleges. We just talked about Ben Sass and how he spent $176,000 on a party, and this is the chair, and they got his name in here. And you want to go to this school? You want to go to this school? G, like, yeah, that's ridiculous. Oh, it gets worse, G. It gets worse. It gets worse. And they have been in where is it? And that's off Instagram. This is off Instagram. So, and G, it also says what he said. They said, but instead of keeping it professional, a judge ruled that name, Bolaware, misused the money, spending over $100K on hotels, meals, entertainment. Gotta have our entertainment, don't we? As a people, huh? We just gotta have our entertainment. Entertainment, payments to an SAU staffer. He made payments to an SAU staffer and even buy himself a Range Rover. So he did all that. Yeah, he probably spent about $1 million. And so it leads back why that is important. That we got that post, that somebody that posted that. Why is that important? Because they said the university has struggled with its finances for years. You do not want to go to a college that's struggling with their finances, guys. This is a part of the reason why they probably don't have their accreditation. I don't know the process of accreditation. Of course, it deals with like classes, but I'm definitely sure it's more to that because like finances for years. They said they struggled with finances for years and they caught some pretty much some trouble from accreditors, alumni, and politicians for its choices. University leaders on Monday said the institution would sue, which I said before, because the university, if they sue, they get more time to have their accreditation. So please be mindful of this school. This is St. Augustine's University. And then G said, I just hate their misconduct, messes it up for the students and even faculty and staff who are there doing their job. Exactly. Because now, if you're a faculty and staff, I'm gonna be honest, if you faculty and staff and you still working there, you shouldn't be even working there, because I'm gonna tell you why. I don't apply to schools. I definitely passed up a lot of schools because they were not accredited. It was a post by, I think, Morris Brown, another HBCU, and I promise you, they did not have, because you can edit posts on LinkedIn. I mentioned that they just got their accreditation back, but they were trying to tell students to come to their institution, and I was like, be mindful, because they just got their accreditation back. Now they're good, but you just got to be mindful. Like schools that just get their accreditation back, and we already know like schools are on the brink, like which leads into the next one. But a lot of schools are on the brink right now about things of this nature. And then I see that G said, I'm sure they got one foot out. Purely for the sake of their careers. For the sake of their careers. Because once you lose your accreditation, you are now on the verge of being shut down as a college. Most people don't think that's like, you don't really think a college can shut down, or you don't think tragedy can happen until it happens. And so if your school is not accredited, for one, students are not going to go there, or at least your sharp students who know, like parents who are well versed in who care about education, like you're not accredited. But a lot of people don't know that. Once again, we talk about it all the time. A lot of people don't know if a school is accredited or not. You have to understand that if they're not accredited, enrollment numbers go down. You're gonna lose, like, imagine if you're like a big time investor. If you're like G, you got millions and millions of dollars, right? G's not going to invest in your school if you are not accredited. So now you can't get alumni donors. You're trying to raise tuition, but that don't make sense to raise tuition. Why? Because you're not even accredited. You have no right to raise your tuition. But a lot of schools do that, and people don't pay attention. We got to pay attention to that. Don't ever pay the fee of a school that's not accredited. That's like paying for a physical trainer who is not certified. That's what it's like doing. Just imagine anything that's not certified and you're paying for it. It doesn't make sense. Would you listen to somebody like, imagine if I never went to college and I'm telling you how to get a debt-free degree or save money in college. On top of that, I didn't go to school, or I never worked in higher education. You go look at any higher education channel, go look at I don't care if they got 1 million subscribers on YouTube. You go look at anybody out there right now, they didn't go to college, they worked in a higher education most of their life, but they just went to a traditional 4-year or whatever. And then, what's another one? Or they just got $1 million in scholarship money, and they say, oh, this how you can go to school for free, And then they're going to switch their whole YouTube motivation channel. They're going to switch their whole YouTube channel. And then they're going to do that one video about how you can get $1 million in scholarships. You're going to watch it and fall for it. And then next thing you know, they're talking about their day in life. I don't care about your day in life. I thought you was a higher education channel. I went and did what you said, and I only got freaking $100 in scholarship money or $500 in scholarship money. It doesn't work. I've seen people fall off of that cliff so many times. Rise to the top, fall right back off. That's why we rather just grind up the slow way. Because when you actually know what you're talking about, people don't come at you. They try to mute you. They try to act like they don't see what you're talking about on your post or whatever. Oh, it's cool. Like me say, it's all cool. It's all good. Because if y'all want to keep watching people on YouTube who don't know what they're talking about when it comes to higher education, about how to go to school, about how to save money, please go keep watching their day in life. Because they went the, no offense to anybody. No offense, but I see a lot of Harvard students and Ivies, they go on this YouTube and say, oh, this is how you can go to school and da. And I never hear about them again. So, and nobody want to take a shot at me because I think they scared. And so G said, I wouldn't agree with that analogy only because I know what it takes to get a PT certification. When you say PT, a physical training certification, you are definitely against the grain. Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm not listening to nobody, G, who's not at least some type of certification in health. You got to have some type. I feel like you got to have some type of certification. If you want to train somebody, you got to have some type of background. Some type of like, you got to have some type of certification, man. But my brother said it's not hard to do that, though. He said it's not hard. He said it's really not hard. The test is bullcrap. He's a physical therapist. He said your certification is your body. But everybody has different bodies and, you know, like the inside of the body, because my brother is a physical therapist and he breaks it down like a science. You know, he went to school for physical therapy for like 4 years. Very, very tough program. Very tough program. He tests like crazy. It was very rigorous. And so G said, I listen to people who look like I listen to people who look like what I want to look like. Yeah, but then you can't eat certain foods. They probably, like me right now, like I'm a little skinny, right? But I could eat a lot of junk food if I wanted to. Like I could eat a lot of pizza. I could eat a lot of whatever. And if I go running though, it's gonna hurt me though. I'm not even gonna lie. See, most people can eat what they want and go run and it won't hurt them. I'm telling you, I've seen it all the time. I think you've seen it too. But I'm not that type of person. If I eat, let's just say I ate candy today at like 12 o'clock and I try to go running at like 3 or 4 o'clock, I'm going to feel it later. If I don't feel it early in my run, I'm going to feel it like when I hit my 3-mile mark, for example. So, and then G said physical therapy is different from physical training. It is. It's very different. But it all goes hand in hand. For sure. It all goes hand in hand. And I'm not an expert in that. That's a debate for my brother who is a physical therapist, because I don't have no certification. I just know how to work myself out. I can't give nobody advice on working out because I don't know what nobody's, what's that word, physique is. So as we get back to St. Augustine's University, because where is it? So it's an article to it too. There's more to it, and guys, yeah, right there. So this is what is this? It's like a news outlet, it looks like. And so just some key points I think we should hit on in this. My first time looking at it as well. So the decision by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges opposed the agency's most recent decisions in December and March to strip St. Augustine's of its accreditation and membership with the organization. It says with Monday's decision being St. Augustine's second unsuccessful appeal in a row, the university can no longer pursue appeals. Wow, I didn't know that. Hold on. With Monday's decision being St. Augustine's second unsuccessful appeal in a row, the university can no longer pursue appeals in the framework outlined in the but their bylaws. It's the accreditor's bylaws. That's why they're taking them to court, because they failed twice and they can't do that twice. That's literally how they put it. They didn't even put a space in it. It's hilarious. And so, I don't think it's supposed to be a space. No, I don't know. I just copy and pasted. But yeah. So it said, instead, university leaders said Monday they plan to file a lawsuit, as we said before. And they said, remember, that lawsuit lets them keep their accreditation while they battle out in court about why they failed. I don't think they're going to win, personally, because the same guy, Brian Boulware, chair of the university's board of trustees, the same guy that spent like $600,000 and more on expenses, is saying this. What he said. Now, he spent $600,000 on personal items. He took the school money and spent $600,000. Now, he said, we will stop at nothing to ensure that SAU maintains its accreditation and continues serving our students. Brian Boulware. Man, they finna lose. They finna get slaughtered in court. And so, legal endeavor likely to be expensive for SAU. They said the legal endeavor is likely to be an expensive one, especially given that the creditor, SACCOC, has routinely cited financial issues at St. Augustine's as a key reason for its decisions to pull the university accreditation. So, G said, I'd like to know why they actually failed. They're saying they failed because of their financial issues. They literally just said that, G. Literally, when you typed when that came in, this is where it said right here. Hold on, I'm about to say. And then right there. Where is it? And then that's the last part of it. That's the last part. Yep, that's the last part. And so they pulled it for the financial they just pulled it for financial issues. So the classes weren't bad. Like, it wasn't their classes. It wasn't really their staff. It wasn't their faculty. It was their money issues, their money handling issues. They were not handling money properly. And so, per the news release, the university expects to spend at least $1 million on litigation, including a $350,000 retainer fee for attorneys. To support those costs, the university is asking for donations from its network of supporters in pretty much North Carolina communities. And guys, I'm not giving you more money after you've been having financial issues. See, now you have a lack of trust. Now you got like a trust problem. I wouldn't give them more money. How you gonna go to court and not have the money to go to court? That don't make sense. And then G said, well, I actually don't think that's fair if the loss of the accreditation was non-academic. It's always multiple factors, because you just put some thought into it, right? If you're not doing right with the money, but you keep bringing in students, there should be some kind of reconciliation for students. It might, but that's the game of higher education. They don't really care. Like, students, then they leave it up to the public. This is why speaking on behalf speaks for you. Then they leave it up to the public to know and do their own research. because fall semester coming up, students are still enrolling at this school right now, and they probably don't know about this. They probably don't know about this. It being the game doesn't make it fair. Yeah, you know the game ain't always fair, G. You know the game ain't fair. You know that. You know the game not fair. You just got to play the game how it is until the game changes. I was watching Dumb Money, like 2 days ago. Me and my girl was watching Dumb Money, and it was so interesting when his wife said, "You got to go testify before Congress. The game has changed." She said, "You changed the game," and I was like, dang, when your wife don't even know about stocks and she even said you changed the game. That's when you know it's deep. And I was just like, it was a pretty good movie. And so G said, you said it yourself, most people don't know this type of stuff. At least Wikipedia has changed it. What? Already? Bro, who is over Wikipedia, bro? They say Wikipedia is not credible. Wikipedia be on it. Wikipedia be on it. We gotta respect Wikipedia to a certain degree. Wikipedia be having the information. When Google, Yahoo, they don't come through, Wikipedia like, we here, you know? We got the information for you. And so, right here, accreditation, which the U.S. Department of Education says is meant to, quote, ensure that institutions of higher education meet acceptable levels of quality, is crucial to several facets of university operations. Perhaps most nobly, that includes federal student aid. In order for a student to receive such aid, they must attend an accredited school. So another part. So these students are coming up this fall, because for all we know, they say they can keep their accreditation when they go into this legal battle. They say, but they might not be able to. And then if they can't keep their accreditation, students can't use their financial aid or need-based, merit-based, all that other stuff. Like, they can't get none of that stuff because the school is not accredited. You get no federal money when you're not an accredited school. And so, we got a lot from you, G. And so, guys, you always have to keep that in mind. You might think like, I'm gonna still go there. It don't matter. But if you plan on using federal money, or your school relies on federal money, that school is on the brink of, so close on the brink of closing down. And G said, also, G, you been helping us. I appreciate you. I know you busy at work too, because I know I ain't gonna have you for long. That's why I'm interacting with you a lot. And G said, and I was thinking about the students who were there before this conversation was started. Let's be honest, no average or even above average student is worrying about their school accreditation. G said something there. Let's be honest. And you know the only reason, I'm pretty sure, because G, you said you worked in higher education too when you was a student there. So you had to be well versed in that. I had to be well versed in that because we used to talk about our accreditors in the city I was at, Columbus, and they wasn't really competition. We used to tell people because they wasn't accredited. Their prices were higher than us, and they wasn't accredited. Then people would come to us mad when I was at my 2-year because they were like, why you don't accept my credits? And then we was like, because that school wasn't accredited. They wasn't accredited. And then we were like, yeah. And then I was like, you good though, right? You didn't have no student loans. And they said, yeah, because the school was expensive. I couldn't even use financial aid because the school's not accredited. And the school is still up as we speak to this day. Still getting people. And so, and it's simple, guys. You can literally go on the school website and see if they're accredited. And then you can it's definitely, maybe we should do that. We should do that now on the live screen. Because I need to see if there's something where you can find that. Is there like a list or something? There is. I actually was doing some research. Hold on right quick. All right. So, guys, you remember me putting the, dang, appreciate that, G. You just made me remember something. So, remember, guys, I put the SACSCOC in the chat, right? I'm going to tell you why this is important. What we finna do real quick before we come back to St. Augustine University. if you go on Google, like we always do with everything, I'm gonna copy and paste that. They have a website, and this is for the South. Everybody had, or even go to ChatGPT, guys, and type in all the accreditors, all the accreditation facilities. I'm not sure the proper name for it, but definitely like the people who do the accreditations. Like you just type in like all the accreditations in the United States, like each of them, because you got one for up north. This is the South because this is in North Carolina, so they cover like. Let me see which ones they cover because they got a website. But I'm gonna go to their website first before I look up all the. Ooh, check this out, cause then we can clip this up. Then y'all can just watch the short version of it and get. Come on, man. Come on, man. So, G said, well, Columbia is a little different because, like Harvard, you're objectively. So, well, Columbia is a little different because, like Harvard, your objectivity is questioned if talking about pulling their accreditation. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out, G. See how different Harvard is. They can't be too different because they get that Harvard and Columbia and them, y'all Ivies, they get that federal money, so they gotta have. I wonder who is their accreditor, but we're gonna find out. Yes, we are. We about to find out. So, website. Yep. So this is for example, guys. This is for the South, pretty much. And guys, don't worry. Don't worry. I will put this in the description. I will find each and every last one. If I don't find all of them, I will find them and I will put this in the description. Because this is where you find, I just put in the chat, this is where you find your accreditation. So they don't have all the institutions. They cover Texas. They cover Louisiana. So this is the Southern, I'm going to say it one more time. This is the Southern Association of College and Schools Commission on Colleges. They cover Texas. They cover Louisiana. They cover Mississippi. They cover Alabama. They cover Tennessee. They cover Kentucky. They cover Virginia. They cover North Carolina. They cover South Carolina. They cover Georgia, of course. They cover Florida. They cover all of the South in this area. This is why I got this degree I got up here. This is they accredited that. Is it on there, matter of fact? No, they didn't put it up there. But all my degrees up here are accredited by them. And so, let's see what G said. G said something else. They get accreditation like every other school. It's just that they were around before these accreditors were even thought of. AKA, they more or less set the standard. We set the standard. We public colleges set the standard, G. Not Ivies. JK. Y'all know I like to mess with G and his Ivies. I like to mess with him a little bit. But G got humor. That's why I can joke with G. He has humor. And so this is one of them. So I want to type in, I'm not even gonna lie, guys, I'm about to use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is gonna list them all, so I don't have to keep searching by search, pretty much. I can find them. Chat should be able to find them all. So mass chat real quick. List all. So this is gonna be called, I'm just saying this, guys, so when I edit, this is called, you should know all these accreditors right here, because this can impact you and blah, 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 blah. I'm just doing that so I can, when I edit, I know where to stop and find it. So right now I'm finding all of the accreditors, list all the institutional accreditors. I'm looking down because my phone is in the way. Let's see what we get with that. Let's see how far we get with this one. Ooh, we cooking. It says, sure, here's a current list of the main recognized institutional accreditors in the United States. There we go. Here we come. Let's go. Let's see. So you have national. Oh, let's go. Hold on. Wait. 7 regional. So you got regional. And then you have, my phone is in the way. And it's okay. So you got regional institutional accreditors. You got the Middle States, the New England Commission of Higher Education, Higher Learning Commission. This is all in the United States, by the way. Northwest, or you got Higher Learning Commission, Northwest Commission on Colleges and Universities. The one we just said, Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges. You got, they call it WASC, Senior College and University Commission. Okay. Accrediting Commission for Community, yes, for junior colleges. Accrediting Commission for Community and Junior Colleges. Western Association of Schools and Colleges. Wowza. And I didn't even know they had national institutional accreditors. We are learning something. See, this should have been a class in my graduate school. They could have put this into a mini-mester, or this could have been a class. I feel like we should have a class in graduate school. I feel like we should have a class on financial aid. I feel like we should have a class on accreditors. And I feel like we should have a class on just something else that's very useful instead of writing papers all the time. And so G said, very recently, the Department of Education called Columbia's accreditation into question and notified their accreditor. They did. And I didn't understand that because I'm like, it's Columbia, you know? Your master's is general education, right? No, it's not general. It's a master's in interdisciplinary studies of higher education. That's where we pull a lot of like scholarly articles, of course, and write numerous of papers. But we look at stats and all that good stuff. And pretty much, you know, use credible information to build your case on what you're talking about. You know, back it up with evidence, not TikTok. Because apparently people are trying to quote TikTok in school, in college. And that's not credible. It's not. It's like, yeah, there are some doctors on TikTok. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me, G. Because I know you are very like me. We see all perspectives. But we all know at the end of the day, we don't know if they're really a doctor, even though they're on TikTok. So, that's just an example, right? Because people can be professionals on these social media platforms, but we cannot use that in a course of institution schoolhouse. We have to pull from people who have gotten their scholarly articles. What's that word? They have been reviewed and pretty much stamped by other certified people, pretty much. So, but that ain't nothing new to you, G. You know about that. Interdisciplinary higher education. What would you do with that ideally? Political. So what would I do with that? A lot of jobs in higher ed want you to, at least when you go to bigger jobs, like when I was working at Georgia Tech, they do a lot of research. Even all jobs really. And so at a 2-year, they don't really look forward to you like researching things, if that makes sense. Like you work at a 2-year, they don't really expect you to like to know things like, oh, did you research about this? Like how we keeping up with current topics, right? And in higher ed, what's going on. They don't really, 2-year level, they don't really care too much about that. Like, oh, you looked up this data and now you want to try to implement it. See, Georgia Tech was more on that. Like you look up some data, you review something, and you try to implement it. That's what they want you to do oftentimes. And then like a regular university, kind of the same as a 2-year. If that regular university is not like known as prestige, you know, they don't really, a regular university you just working. They just work. At least as far as I've seen. But if you're like, of course it's different if you're a professor, faculty, because they actually research, right? They should. I know at least my professor do at Georgia State. And when I worked at Georgia Tech, they research all the time. So it's just teaching me how to research in this career field, OG, in a short and concise way to say it. And so G was saying, I was saying the Department of Education doing that was political. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And when you say political, G, and G said, I know a guy who was getting a PhD in higher education, and at the time I knew him. He was the residential director for freshman housing at Columbia. Wait, so with a master's, who would go into research? Wait, so with a master's, who would go into who would go into research? What you mean who would go into research, G? Are you talking about like me? Would I go into research? You? So yeah, I could go into research, not like a PhD student research. Like I don't have to defend anything, but I know how to research. It what I got from the program is how to break down complex. So what I learned in my master's, I learned how to break down complex articles related to higher education. Interpret the data. So like when I talked to you about how there's not enough research on 2-year colleges, there's not enough like all the research that has been done in higher education is very traditional. They don't really factor in innovative ideas on how a student should start a 2-year bridge to a 4-year. And then if they are, I interpret the data and provide you the data. Of course, it's all like, as I say to people, like when I get data, what I learned from it is like it's my point of view and perspective. I didn't conduct research. I didn't have to do that. That's definitely PhD level. When you conduct research, you go get your participants and you ask them questions, and more of that stuff, right? So, like honestly, I just learned how to break down a lot of things and be confident in my answers and forecast. But there's really no career field for forecasting, and well, it is in higher education, but higher education is rigged, to be honest, as we keep going and talking about it. But I'm gonna respond to this real quick, what you just typed, G. Well, that's what I was wondering. Wouldn't you ideally just go into the PhD program? Yeah, I had to do a thesis. We had that option, but I knew I wasn't getting a PhD. And then, or like, I guess I'm asking, what's the trajectory for your masters, or what do they expect from their students? That's a good question. What do they expect from their students? A lot of the people in the program already been working in higher education as well. So a lot of them have like 10 years of experience, 20 years of experience, which is crazy, right? Some been working there 5 or 6 years. So you believe your master's is actually more useful for what you do now? I feel like it is. Like when I'm doing the live streams, going to find information and breaking it down in simple terms, because most of the people in higher education is like another language, G. Unless you're like you worked in higher education, right? Or you just follow it closely. Most people don't follow it closely. And well, that is actually what I would expect for a higher education master's or PhD. What you would expect, G? For most of the students to be older. Yeah, they were older. Very like it's like it was only like two of us, two other people in the program that was maybe three of us. Four of us total, including me. That's like around the same age. Some of them that was around the same age, they dropped out of the program. A lot of people are older. But what I was getting to though is about G. Higher education is rigged. They want to keep things the same. And I know we talk about it all the time, like how I go against the grain. They want to keep it the same. They want to keep it traditional, and they don't really want to change nothing as far as like trying to help students save money in college. That's kind of my jaded, what you call it, G, my jadedness, if that's a word, my jadedness kicking in a little bit, because we just talked about the guy I was talking about was in his 40s at the time. We were good friends, and he said he might as well get his PhD. And then, yeah, because then I said some jaded stuff yesterday too, G. I don't know if you was in the live stream. They say your generation is jaded. He said, well, our generation. I'm going to say, G, you said you was in the same generation as us. You said you was in the same generation. But I said something jaded yesterday, G. Ben Sass, I don't know if you was in here. I know you be in here, don't say nothing sometimes. Ben Sass, like and subscribe, guys. Like and subscribe. Ben Sass, yesterday when I was talking about Ben Sass, he was a former U.S. senator, and U.S. former senator turned University of Florida president, and he spent way within his first year being a University of Florida president, he spent triple what the last president spent in his 4-year tenure or his tenure at all. But Ben Sass brought his homeboys and homegirls in, right? Man, Ben Sass was turned up for one. He brought his homeboys and homegirls, put them on like more than $250,000 of like dollars. So he put them on like $400,000. I was busy, believe it or not. No, you was. I know you was probably busy, G. I know it was in you because I saw two most of the time. I was like, G in here, but he just probably listening. And so Ben Sass put his homeboys and homegirls on like $400,000 salaries for my people in here. He put them on $400,000 or more in a salary. And guys, let me tell you why it made me jaded. Because imagine you're trying to climb the ladder and apply to jobs in higher education. And I get this could be anywhere. This could be anywhere, right? Jobs do this all the time. But to be in higher education, to be in a you could say I was being green and essentially thinking like higher education was a different career field. It was organic. It was different, right? I was thinking that at first because I've been in this field since I was 18. That's all I knew really, besides sports, and I can understand and do well in it naturally. I didn't have to really work as hard as somebody else who don't. Like, I understand people very well. So that's why I decided to stay in this career field. And so you would think it's different. And that if you went to school for it, you've been busting your butt, making change, keeping students, making sure they graduate, getting across the stage. But you come to find out that this political leader, Ben Sass, came in and he put people in position who didn't know nothing about higher education. But Ben Sass did know a little about higher education. They say he used to be an instructor or whatever. But did his peers know about higher education? That's the thing. But G said, well, wait until higher education goes back to the States. A lot of people are going to be in for a rude awakening. And then G said, wait, your bachelor's was in higher education? My bachelor's was in organizational leadership, which was a mix of everything. My goodness. It was like a mix of like politics, learning how to be diplomatic, understanding people better, perspectives. Like I learned a lot of theories, which a lot of people probably don't think is helpful, but you probably know that, G. And then also Ben Sass has a PhD, LOL. He does have a PhD, and he got it from an Ivy, I think. I think he got it from it's an Ivy. Correct me if I'm wrong, G. I know you be looking up stuff pretty fast. I believe it was Yale. I think he got it from Yale. Yeah, Yale. Boom! I remember. I don't know why I can remember stuff like that. But if you ask me other questions about other stuff, I will struggle. But I remember that. And so, guys. Yeah. So G took us down a rabbit hole. G does that. It's a good rabbit hole though. Because I'm gonna ask that real quick to give us, because that video probably ain't gonna be long, but if I ever have to come back to it, add links to these. Hold on right quick. I gotta get the links to these, because definitely when I cut that up, definitely. And what I plan on doing, I don't know if that'd be too long. So we'll see. G, I got a question for you. Do you think I should add all the institutional accreditors? As a person that watched the YouTube channel faithfully, which I'm thankful for, do you think I should add the institutional accreditors, all the accreditors in my description? or just put that in a video? Of course, I'm gonna separate into a video, but do you think that should be in a description? So when people come, they're trying to find out if their college is accredited in their state. Should we put that in the description for them, or would that be too many? Because that's gonna be a lot. It's probably gonna be like, it's gonna be +5 for sure. It's gonna be over 5 institutional accreditors in that description. And so while we wait for G to get back with us on that, let's see how many we got so far. Yeah, we got a good few of them. We got a good few of them. And so, all right, we are at 1 hour and 5 minutes, guys. How to be in court. So, that's pretty much about St. Augustine's. And G said it won't hurt, but it would be better if it linked to a page that says that. Link to a page that says that. Okay. No. I don't gotta go to court. No. I was just saying that's what they do in court. That's what they do in court. When they start hitting when you hit a certain time, they be like, okay, in the courthouse. But we finna talk about the King's College. The King's College. And G, I'm about to write that down what you said. So, have you heard of the King's College, G? I know you went to school up north. Have you heard of that school before? Alice Marie. Didn't know you was in here. Welcome to the party. And then G said, you know a website or something that has a list of accreditors? No, I don't. Let me see if there is one, though. Yeah, they closed down, by the way. The King's College is officially closed. They are closed. Huh. Check that out. I think I did find it, G. Hold on. Let's see. And then, let's see. And I'm gonna still write this down too, what you said. I'm gonna still write that down. Oops. Where we go? Check that out. Man, it's so much information on the U.S. Department of Education, man. Good looks, G. I think I found something. Let me see. I think I came here during graduates in class one time, doing something annoying me. I'm gonna look up your school, G. Yeah, they showing schools all over, up north and everything. Look at this school right here. Another school. Yeah, it's the website. It's the website. Appreciate that. Yeah, we got some. So guys, this is the website, but I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna add this in the description for sure. This is the website though. Appreciate that. Little common sense. That was a little common sense right there. And so the King's College. Yeah, stay away from St. Augustine's University for the time being until you hear about the accreditation being safe and good to go to. Honestly, if I was you, I wouldn't go there my whole 4 years. I wouldn't go there for graduate school or anything until somebody comes to me and tells me that they are accredited, and you still gonna fact check it because we gave you the website where you can find that, and we're going to put that in the description. It's gonna be right under the U.S. It's gonna be right under the Department of Education College Scorecard. It's gonna be right under that, so you can look up your college, see if it's worth the money. Then you can check to see if they're accredited. Boom, 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 change, bang. It's gonna be all at one spot. Then they can't do nothing with you. So, the King's College in New York City is officially closing down. This school, guys, they have not enrolled students or been accredited since 2023. And they were unable to find a strategic financial partner before Tuesday deadline, which was today. And so, remember, guys, there's a education department in each state, and so they had to do this before reporting to the New York State Education Department, and they didn't meet that deadline, so they had to unfortunately shut it down. And so they wrote a short and concise newsletter, not newsletter, but is it a newsletter? A letter. I said newsletter. A letter. And talking about how they got to permanently close and shut down. They were open for 90 years. 90 years. Guys, I haven't even been alive for 90 years. And they've been open for 90 years. And why am I talking about the King's College? Because some people probably never heard of this college. I didn't hear about this college. I didn't hear about this until I saw it, in my information going through Chronicles of Higher Education, right? Why are we talking about this? Because even though this school hasn't been enrolling students since 2023, and they haven't been accredited since 2023, guys, it's important because you can learn from it. Because when a school, the key denominators that I just said, they were not accredited they were not accredited pretty much for 2 years. Since 2023, they were not accredited. If you're not accredited, it's really hard for a school to do business if they're not accredited, unless they have. I would have never believed you haven't been alive 90 years, LOL. I know, right? You know what I'm saying? I've been on this earth for a long time, G, and, I make the new 90 look good, right? So a lot of people won't believe that I was almost 90 one time, then I had went back in time. Yeah, I'm one of the first people to have a time machine. So one day I could teach somebody how to go back in time. But the key things about it, was they didn't have no accreditation, and they stopped enrolling students. When I tell you as a student, guys, if you're on the SGA, if you're a student in college and you feel like you don't have a voice, something I didn't believe, honestly. You have a voice. Like, I was a big strong believer in not doing my evaluations at the end of class. Not end of class, but when you about to close out a semester. I never did an evaluation unless I was forced to. I did not do my evaluations at my 2 year. I didn't do them at my 4 year. I just started doing them in graduate school because I started having multiple people in my corner talk about something. You need to put that in evaluation so they can change it. And my thing was, I'm not going to benefit from it because I'm not in the class. I already passed the class. It ain't going to help me. Well, it can help the person who's coming behind you. Oh, whatever. I was one of them types. But you have a voice because it goes back to this. Because students, you can shut down the college. Students can shut down the college. They don't know that, but they should know that. If a student says, if students feel like they're being charged a lot of money, all they gotta do is hold out. They just be like, I'm not coming to class next semester. We not coming to class next semester. We gonna make y'all do a tuition freeze. This is ridiculous. And so this college shut down. You know, this college had to end at the 90 years of being accredited, bringing in students. And the best part about it, they were private at that. They were private. This is a private Catholic school. So this wasn't like they were just getting any, it wasn't like they were just like, what's that word I'm looking for? They wasn't just getting, they had to go get students. Anybody could just apply. So people had money when they were going to the school. And so it's showing you that, like, I don't know, I feel like any college can shut down. Like I said, we're going to start seeing colleges shut down. Maybe. Don't want to put that out there on them colleges, but I think we're going to start seeing colleges shut down. I really do believe that. Like, can you imagine, like, your college not being there no more? So you can't go to no alumni things. You can't really, you know, some people like visiting their college sometimes, go see old professors, or if they still there, or going to see, like, some staff members. They won't be there because the college shutting down. So G said, what is G talking about? So Alice Marie said, you barely been alive for 30. You don't know that, Alice Marie. And then G said, unrelated, I said that word before. Hold on, G. Forgive me. Unrelated, my Hungarian teacher wanted me to do my evaluation, and she said it was anonymous. The kicker is there was 2 students. I was one of them. And she had 6 total. Don't about 20 to 30 shut down every year, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how many colleges shut down every year, G. I didn't even know colleges shut. That sounds like that's a regular thing. I didn't even know colleges shut down on a regular like that. Let me see. I know that'll take some little research to actually fact check that. Yeah, it said varies. Yeah. But they are saying, well, that's not really, I ain't using them. It's just hard to believe some colleges. Like I said, I believe these region colleges gonna shut down for sure. But like big boy colleges and blue chip colleges, they not shutting down no time soon. The point of that was how anonymous is the valuation really. Over 40 closed last year. Yeah, what 40 did close though? That would be a good question. What 40 really closed? They say 40, man, so many colleges out here, right? But what colleges really closed? But I'll tell you that part. And Forbes says 80 might close this year. Forbes? Should we really go by Forbes? Do Forbes really know what they're talking about? Ain't they good for like pictures and stuff? They should stick to that. Forbes. Are we really respecting Forbes in this space right now? And then one of the sources I do get it from, it's called bestcolleges.com. They say about 80 private, non-private colleges closed or merged between 2020 and 2024. And you said Forbes, you read Inside Higher Ed? Yes, I do read Inside Higher Ed. They're pretty, yeah, they're considered credible. At least according to my school, they are. They be having me out here questioning what's credible and not credible sometimes. But I do read Inside Higher Ed. I read them often. They say about 100. Where you see that at, G? What you typed in to find that? I'm gonna type in Inside Higher Ed. Between 2022 and 2024. Oh. Aha. Yeah. Well, we're gonna see. It got to be some heavyweights though. It got to be some colleges I know of, because a lot of these colleges we never heard of them. But I gotta respect it. Some people probably did hear about these schools. Some people probably did hear about these schools. Maybe colleges you never hear about. And I just think it's hilarious because it's that many colleges out there. It's that many of them. And so let's see, guys, before we head to the end, let's see if anybody posted anything like Linda, because it's 12:16. So let's see if anything has been posted. Let's see real quick. Wow. Wowza. 2 days in the random site. 2 a days. I never heard of them either. I know you said it's a random site. I never heard of them. So let's see. Department of Education talking about summer challenges, summer reading challenge. Do anybody know if any kids are reading books this summer? Like K-12 kids. I told my niece to read a book this summer. I told my little cousin to read a book this summer. They looked at me like I was crazy when I told them they should read a book. I told them they ain't even got to read a big book. I said just read like a book. They looked at me like I was crazy and said no. I said, dang, y'all don't respect y'all uncle. It's crazy. Then right here, oh, okay. We do got something, guys. But Shio is terrible. They need to hire me as they media outlet. They be getting no views on X. They need to invest in media. G said kids don't read anymore. That is sad. That is very sad. And so Linda McMahon said right here, let me see if this is the same thing we talked about. We are thrilled to have Secretary of United States Education, of course, Linda McMahon, here with us this morning to talk about the role states play in the administration's plan for higher education. Not Shio kissing the ring. Shio is kissing the ring. I bought books for gifts because of that. Yes, gotta buy the books as a gift. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have to do that. Do you put money in it, G?